Welcome to the wonderful Tropical Pleasure Resort, sitting pretty in the beautiful village of Plymouth. It is our location for the next half hour as we share with you all the hot topics and major events happening in Tobago in the past week. You'll also get a tour of this lovely property and what it has to offer. So sit back and relax while we bring you all the details. I'm Davia Chambers and Let's Talk Tobago starts right now. The countdown to the Tobago Heritage Festival kickstarts with the Are We Heritage on the Road Caravan. Tobago selects a new Junior Secretary of Tourism at the recently concluded Annual Tourism Youth Congress. We have all these stories and more when Let's Talk Tobago returns. Stay with us. Tropical Pleasure Resort provides 11 guest rooms that sleep from 2 to 6 persons. Each air-conditioned room offers a kitchenette, Wi-Fi, smart TV, and a private bathroom for a quiet getaway. Each room has its own private patio so that guests can enjoy the breathtaking scenery of nature, with some rooms even offering a view of the pool. July on the island is all about the Tobago Heritage Festival. If you've never experienced the festival, it's an annual series that showcases and aids in preserving Tobago's unique cultural traditions. In the next coming days leading up to the opening of the Tobago Heritage Festival 2022, this is what you can expect to see around Tobago. It's being called Are We Heritage on the Road, executed by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation in an effort to bring awareness to Tobago's signature cultural event, the Tobago Heritage Festival.
It is designed to promote the Heritage Festival because after we have been devoid of it for 2.5 years, we figured that it was time to really take the heritage, which really belongs to the people, to the people. So we conceived this idea and to take it about through all the community places that we can, the rural areas, and to some of the areas where people are about their daily life duty and workspace. Culture is a vehicle, so we are occupying that vehicle, so to speak, and taking ownership of our cultural legacy and taking it to all and sundry.
Mr. Taylor says locals and visitors alike can be on the lookout for various aspects of Tobago's culture to be on full display.
We plan to go to Plymouth and we also plan to go to Charlottesville, Buku. So as we move along, we're taking different aspects that deals with other areas of our things, some of the African traditions, some of our fisher folk stuff, some musical stuff that deals with the way we used to sing, chant, dance, and whatever, some invocational stuff, and generally promoting the heritage, because as each stop we are able to distribute things about our different events that we have, the flagship events we have, like the Miss Heritage Personality.
And persons are already excited to be a part of their favorite village productions.
Charlottesville Natural Treasures Day, because I am from Charlottesville and it's one of the better heritage festivals. It is well organized and we celebrate the traditions of the people living in Charlottesville from year to year, and the crowd that normally comes, they enjoy themselves, and as I said before, it's the best.
Plymouth, Juvie and Leicester too, and I believe I'm going to Mariah wedding too.
I look forward to the old-time wedding in Mariah, the whole action on the street and the people involvement in the actual procession of the dancing and the village Mako and the whole village life of the Mariah wedding. I look forward to that.
The Tobago Heritage Festival starts on July 22nd with the opening night production spearheaded by the Tobago Performing Arts Company, or TPAC, at Shore Park Complex from 8 p.m. Tickets cost $100 for adults and $50 for children. For more information and the full calendar of events, you can visit the social media pages of Tobago Festivals Commission. July in Tobago is all about the Tobago Heritage Festival. If you've never experienced the festival, it's an annual series that showcases and aids in preserving Tobago's unique cultural traditions. Opening night is always a highly anticipated event on the Heritage calendar. We'll hear all about it from CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, or TPAC, Mr. Elvis Rajman, and Artistic Director, Mrs. Rayshon Peku.
So you just witnessed snippets from the Awi Heritage on the Road caravan in the streets of Scarborough, where they went to various offices, THA offices, and just spoke to persons on the streets. As Davia said, I'm chatting here today with CEO of the Tobago Performing Arts Company, TPAC, Mr. Elvis Rajman, and Artistic Director, Mrs. Rayshon Kerr. And we will be talking about the opening night, which is a signature event of the Tobago Heritage Festival, very anticipated event, and it really sets the stage for the rest of the festival. Hello, Elvis. Hello, Rayshon, and welcome to Let's Talk Tobago.
Hi.
So TPAC was given the responsibility to spearhead the opening night of the Tobago Heritage Festival. Of course, TPAC is recently formed. You're just about how old now? Roughly?
A year and a half.
Just about a year and a half. Tell me, what was it like taking on that responsibility for the first time?
We were elated, excited, still very fearful because there were a lot of moving parts. But this is what the company was created to do. The company was created to really be the vehicle that leads the creative sector on the island, and no better way to do so by the start of the Tobago Heritage Festival. I mean, this opening night sets a tone for what the entire festival is going to be. So we jumped in the process, and both feet. We just jumped in, and of course, with an able-bodied team of professionals as the artistic director and the film director and the music director and our dance and movement coordinator, or orchestra coordinator, Mr. O.J. Richards. Everybody just simply put their hands in and start getting the work done. So we are at a stage at this point in time where all systems are moving as it should. Would have preferred to have a bit more time to kind of really get things moving, but the artistic director and a team, they have been doing yeoman service, and we anticipate people saw bitter cassava, and we intend to better bitter cassava. That is the intention. So people can anticipate a very entertaining night, but full of theater. I mean, we go into the history because we are focusing on something that is very near and dear to us, which is the Silk Cotton Tree. But I will allow the artistic director to go deeper into that.
Before we go into that, I want to touch on the auditions and the response from the creative sector. I mean, you spoke about the fact that the time was not very, very long.
Yeah.
And I saw the casting call for the auditions. Tell me, what was the response like from the creative sector here in Tobago?
I mean, it was tremendously exciting. People in all areas of performing arts, in dance and music, just kind of threw their hat in the ring. Children come out. What we saw, and it's important to mention this, we saw a very delicate blend of the mature veteran performers, those who have walked the length and breadth of the Heritage Opening Night, those who know the process. We also saw a lot of children from all of the creative and cultural groups across Tobago, the Youth Quakes and the Rhythmic Vibrations and the Zantes, you name it. We saw those groups representing. And what that did is that it said to us that all people in the communities are looking for spaces with which the training can be extended, and with which they can come in and just share in our own storytelling, because we know Tobago stories excite all of us.
And what I found interesting is that the auditions deadline, it closed very quickly.
It did. The thing about opening night is that we're balancing complement. Size a cast, because the larger the cast gets, the more management it requires, and the bigger budget it needs. So coming out of the opening night auditions, we naturally had more than we needed, and so it just in keeping with the numbers that was conducive for the production and for the show, we kind of had to shave that down. But what we also do, and I have to mention and commend the Heritage Personality Committee, those people who were unsuccessful in the opening night audition, also through the direction of the CEO, we moved them over to the Heritage Personality. In that way, everybody kind of get a piece of the pie, everybody get the opportunity to share and to perform, and of course to generate some level of income.
Excellent. So without giving away too much, because of course we want to keep that element of surprise and excitement, without giving away too much, tell us, what can we expect for the opening night of Tobago Heritage Festival 2022?
You can expect a return to something that we've already experienced. I think all of us saw it, we heard it, we read it on the 2nd of December 2020, and we just kind of sat still when the tree in Culloden fell. Many of us not knowing what to do, knowing the stories and the myths that we associate with the tree, those things that were told to us, and those things that we've told ourselves. We kind of spent a lot of time on Facebook murmuring about what it was and what it could be. But what we did not do is we did not celebrate that role that the tree had played in all of our heritage. And what this particular opening night gives us the opportunity to do is to revisit that. The tree, its legacy, its history, and the people that we've associated with the tree, the coming of age of the tree, what the tree has done for us as Tobagonians and our stories. And so that is what you can expect, a venerating of the tree, a celebrating of the tree, some myth busting. You can expect that, because what is opening night without education? What is opening night without entertainment? Coming off of Bitter Cassava, and I want to say categorically clear, people must associate TPAC with excellence. It is the CEO standard, is my standard, is all of the creative team standard. Excellence, excellence, excellence. So you can expect excitement, you can expect creative use of technology, LEDs, you can expect explosive dancing, all of it. Just come with an open mind, just come early, just expect it.
And the energy and night of excellence. By way of comparison, how would you compare the preparations for Bitter Cassava with the preparations you are doing now for the opening night?
A production generally needs about 2.5 to 3 months for it to come off the ground properly. That is all things considered: administrative work, logistical work, technical development. What we've had to do this time around, and the thing about Bitter Cassava was done based on an established script. Bitter Cassava script was written since the 1979 or somewhere. For this opening night, we had to write the script from scratch. And that research process and all of those things required time, and required the kind of time that we did not have. But what we've seen over time is as you said, Avi, we had to just kind of turn water into wine. So over the last 6 weeks, the team has had to double up and triple up on its efforts to make sure that we got everything done. Once we had the vendors coming in, that kind of changed the dynamics, or rehearsals had to happen in a certain way. The other thing about the difference between Bitter Cassava and the opening night production is called Treasures of the Tree. I do think I mentioned that before, is that a lot of what we're doing had to be built from the ground up, as opposed to Bitter Cassava, which was an established script, which naturally means more work. More work with less time. So that's the major difference. That's the major difference. Yeah, one of the things that we're going for this time around as well is significant use of technology. So we're filming, and the filming is happening in some instances. You're seeing what is happening on stage is mirrored. It's just very exciting, very, very two different experiences, because it is two different stories. But the excitement level, though, that's the thing that is similar, synonymous with both excitement.
But what is also interesting to the entire process, because I'm with the team. I like to be on the ground with the team. So I mean, they set up an exercise where we visited Culloden.
Yeah.
We actually went to Culloden at the site of where the tree fell, and we met with, I can't forget his name, Red Cap. They call him Red Cap. He is one of the knowledge bearers, among others that we would have spoken to on that day, because it's all part of the research. So we are not just bringing fairy tales. We are going to the knowledge bearers who have a certain kind of experience and knowledge, and we are now bringing that to stage, because the edutainment aspect is very important. The educational aspect of it is very important. How do we have the next generation understand the stories? How do we have the next generation understand what has been passed on? So we have found a very interesting way of putting it on stage, and no better team to do it but TPAC. And we're happy that we've been given these sort of mandates to kind of really lead the way, and we don't take that lightly. We take it very seriously. And we are happy to be doing what we're doing at this point in time, and it's excited for the rest of Tobago, because what I see coming out of our last experience, we saw an upsurge, a re-energizing of the sector, the cultural sector. People are messaging us daily, when are you all taking on more residents? We want to become a part of this. And when we have the young people start talking that in 3 years' time, I'll be coming to TPAC, it says that we have succession, and then we could continue the life of what we feel very strongly about. So the entire process has been very time consuming. It's been tiring. I mean, I am tired right now, but you know what?
But you all are
Excellent,
absolute
excellent,
lovers of what you do.
yes, yes.
So it doesn't feel like work.
No, it does not feel like work. We're happy. We're very happy. We're happy.
Excellent. So Elvis and Rayshon, thank you so much for joining us on Let's Talk Tobago. I just want you to close off with telling Tobagonians, and not only Tobagonians, because that weekend we are going to have a lot of Trinidadians on the island. In fact, all July, August, right through the year, we have a lot. Our domestic tourism is booming. Just talk to the people in terms of coming out on Friday 22nd. It is Friday 22nd of July.
So what I would say, join with TPAC, join with the division, join with Festival Commission, let's break some records at Shore Park Cultural Complex. The Shore Park Cultural Complex has a seating capacity of 3,500. We won 3,000. We're giving a little 500 for COVID spacing. But we won 3,000. So we really want people to come from all ends of the island, from Charlottesville, Pembroke, Lescotto, Plymouth, Canaan, come out. But we also want our brothers and sisters, or culture lovers, or activists from Trinidad. Journey on the boat. It's only $100. Come over. You'll have a wonderful time because, one, you'll have a drop-dead performance on stage led by TPAC and some of Tobago's best creatives, as well as you get to really immerse yourself in some of the culinary delights that the Tobago Heritage Festival has to offer. And then it gives you an insight as to what you can expect for the rest of the season. So we ask you to come out, but one thing I have to stress, it starts at 8 o'clock. I'm going to look directly at the camera.
And 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. It starts
Not
at 8
Tobago
o'clock.
time, 8 o'clock.
It is 8.
o'clock.
Because what has been our experience is that with the anticipation, because a lot of people got very excited once they heard that TPAC was in the lead in terms of this process, because people were kind of boggled down in terms of, they think it's the same old thing. So there's a level of anticipation, but with the anticipation, it means more people. And then, of course, we have to go through our processes. We're still going to do our COVID protocols to ensure that people are safe, people wear their masks, and we do our data collection and everything. But people need to be there ahead of time. So therefore, I would recommend people are there at least 25 minutes before start time to get your seat.
Because the house opens at 30 minutes before.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Okay, so you open at 7:30.
Yes, the house opens at 7:30. What I would say is that you, much like me and all others, we've had to sit for the last 2 years and just experience the heritage virtually, which was something that was very foreign to all of us. But heritage is back. Heritage is back with a bang. And if I was you, I would not be home. I just wouldn't do it. I just would not do it. Next week, Friday, the 22nd of July, 8 p.m., Shore Park. Come out in your dandan, put on your frock, put on your high heels, shoe your sneakers, whatever make you feel comfortable. Put your hat on your head, put on your wig, your weave, you bring your aunt, your cousin, just bring everybody because you don't want to have to hear about it afterwards. I wouldn't want to be you if that's the choice that you make. Come.
And just listening and looking at Rayshon, it's giving you a taste because she speaks as though she's on the stage.
Of course. But people made a mistake with Bitter Cassava. The first time we ran the show, people thought it was just a regular thing, and they missed it. And everybody else that missed it after. So we have been getting a lot of calls. When are you going to do this again? And we have a surprise, which we'll share in the upcoming days. Don't let the opening night be that. Let this be a fashion statement. Come out in your full thing. Go buy all your seamstresses, get your big frock, your big dress. Come out nice. Let me celebrate the culture in fine style, and we could do that.
Thank you so very much.
Just in terms of tickets, just a reminder that tickets cost for adults $100, and for children it is $50. You can get tickets at Tobago Festival Commissions along with some other outlets. But if you don't have the time to purchase the tickets before, you can get it on the night of the show because, like the CEO said, show up, I get room. So come.
I think you all will have to reconsider that 7:30 opening time, especially if you're selling tickets. But that's for another conversation. Viewers, thank you so much. So as they said, be sure to be at Shore Park on Friday, 22nd July. It's only $100 for adults, $50 for children. Doors open from 7:30, but you may want to be lined up there before.
The Roxborough Police Youth Club treats men to a day of relaxation and pampering. We'll tell you more right after this break. Stay with us. Guests are free to enjoy the outdoor area and lounge poolside at the recent addition of a majestic 52-feet pool. You'll also have access to a cabana with kitchen facilities. Tropical Pleasure Resort provides a conference room and event center available for rent for events such as meetings, weddings, and other celebrations. It's also conveniently just 2 minutes away from Turtle Beach and 20 minutes from Crown Point A&R Robinson International Airport. Recently, the Roxborough Police Youth Club turned its attention to treating all males to an evening of fun and self-care. But it was about a lot more than haircuts and pedicures. The men also shared their perspectives on issues such as leadership in the workplace and motivating our young people. Take a look.
From very early, allow your children to know that you value them and you love them. Everything that you do with them, let them understand that daddy is doing this because he loves you. He wants you to, to be a good person. He wants you to be successful. He wants you to develop in the right way. And continue along that line. Do not allow yourselves to become separated from your children.
We have been doing our share, our part to contribute to the education scape and to deliver young men and women who could meet the challenge of what is before them. But what I tell my students is the same thing. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. And to prove it, I would tell them that before you went to school, you were learning without anybody taught you. Who taught you to walk? Who taught you to talk? Who taught you your name? So I try to let them understand that even before you went to school, you had the capacity to learn. We just have to build on it.
I am in a privileged position to pass on and to make sure that I mentor and coach these young men sufficiently that they too will come and create their impact. They too will come and represent the fire service in a real sense and understand the true philosophy of being a fire officer so that they would contribute to the development of our society.
As an administrator, it's basically like fulfilling a father figure role as well, because you are the head of the division, and of course you would set your standards just as you would set standards for your home and ensure that the public service regulations, instructions are upheld, all right, just as you would have rules in your house, so you would try to use the same knowledge of managing home with the theory that you would learn in terms of the different subject matter areas to work within the division. And I mean, from time to time, yes, members of staff will have different issues. Some people might be home related, some might be within the workspace. And as the head of the division and carrying out the father figure role there at the division, you are to be able to listen, communicate effectively with your staff so that they understand what are the requirements and apply your own experience as a father when you're treating with issues of staff.
Not very often does this society give men the opportunity to feel appreciated. So all the kudos for the Police Service Youth Club, because it is doing something to men who society often take for granted, often label and so on. And we know for a fact that despite all that is being said and done, there are great men who have been doing a lot of things, and we want to lead by example especially for the young ones who are listening.
This initiative, let us use it as a springboard for men to understand that there is a need to care for yourself. And the ladies and all, when you care for yourself, the ladies appreciate that. And I mean, they have less work in trying to care for you, but they also understand that you have the ambition to care for yourself and to make sure that you present yourself in the best possible form to your society and your family.
We look forward to any initiative where we can get involved in a meaningful way in society. And what a meaningful way to show appreciation to our men. Let's face it, Marlon, from time to time, men have been disempowered You know, we have been accused, we have been blamed, we have been victims of all kinds. But within society, we are doing an excellent job.
The National Junior Championship returned to the Dwight York Stadium for the first time since last being staged in Tobago back in 2016. Brian McCool was on hand and brings us this next story.
Originally carded to run off at the Dwight York Stadium in 2020, the prestigious meet suffered a 2-year delay due to COVID. Now with restrictions lifted, following consultations with the House of Assembly, the N3As decided to host the National Junior Champs at Bacalet. While organizers praised the stadia as the best track and field venue in the nation, the executive of the National Association of Amateur Athletics explains such a meet requires logistical and financial planning.
It would require more clubs, more athletes to come from Trinidad. So if you like, the burden is a little heavier in that sense. But there is some equity in it because usually the Tobago athletes would have to come to Trinidad. So on this occasion, the Trinidadians are coming up.
Also adding to this expense is the lack of officiate track and field equipment in Tobago.
We have to bring across officials, we have to bring across equipment and so on. So you have some additional costs there, and as a non-for-profit organization, it really means going out and finding sponsors.
Competing athletes were cheered on by spectators, which included Olympian and national senior athlete Simoy Hackett.
I'm also proud to see the young athletes being a part of the this development stage, and that they are actually running and competing fiercely, and they are putting their best foot forward to make their team, their country and their community proud.
Tobago's first Olympian, Sheridan Cook, still holds the national record for the 800-meter event. Reminiscing on his track days, he believes a greater level of professionalism should be endorsed on the island in terms of sports science.
Once the entries and all the governing bodies that dealing with junior type athletes understand the level of development that is necessary to breed this type of athlete, we could get it right, because just in Tobago here, we were one of the fastest developing track and field islands in the world.
Assistant Secretary in charge of sport, Wayne Clark, was overjoyed to see activity and the many athletes back at the Dwight York Stadium.
While that event was good, we still have a long way to go in terms of putting ourselves together so we could make maximum use of these opportunities. So I look forward to seeing that, you know, we on this side could get ourselves together, that we could look forward and actually make these events more of a regular thing on the program, and, you know, really access the full benefits of what to derive from it.
The National Junior Championships took place on July 9th and 10th, with Tobago club RSS Phoenix out of Roxborough winning the 2022 title. I'm Ryan McCool for Let's Talk Tobago.
The third annual Tourism Youth Congress was hosted recently at the Scarborough Library facility by the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Students of 8 secondary schools competed for the prestigious title of Tobago Tourism Youth Congress Junior Secretary, but there could only be one winner. So let's see who the lucky person was in this next story. Have a look.
Signal Hill Secondary's Janae Brathwaite is the 2022 Tobago Tourism Youth Congress Junior Secretary. Janae edged out 7 other competitors, discussing the benefits of experiential tourism.
As a student who didn't do tourism, and basically I only had the opportunity to learn from close family about tourism, it was something that, you know, really challenged me to do some research, to understand certain things as it pertains to tourism, to take the time to sit and practice, to understand, well, you know, Janae, why is tourism important for our island? Why is it important to you? Essentially, when we went to the competition, I was a little intimidated by the persons that was there, because I thought that, you know, probably they did tourism, probably they understand more than me, but all you can really do now is go with God and give it your best shot.
Janae proposes immersive museums as one way of benefiting from experiential tourism.
As a young person, I could understand that we are interested in the partying, the, you know, being a part deep connection with whatever we are doing on a spiritual level, on a personal level. You know, we want that opportunity to connect. And apart from the parties, I believe that in order for persons to understand what Tobago has to offer, we can create immersive museums within Tobago that will allow them to do this while still having the opportunity to party on the island.
She explains that the island should also capitalize on user-generated content, as tourists can build a Destination Tobago's brand by sharing experiences on social media.
When we allow these visitors to understand our history and our culture, they know, or we now have the opportunity to preserve it. We allow them to understand what makes Tobago Tobago, and essentially what makes us special from the rest of the Caribbean islands. And additionally to this, when we focus on our ecotourism niche, we have the opportunity to preserve the island for future generations.
The 2022 Junior Tourism Secretary also got the judges' nod by responding to the mystery question on identifying 5 attractions which distinguish Tobago as the greatest little island on the planet. Janae highlighted Fort King George, the Brain Coral located off Little Tobago, Argyle and Highlands Waterfalls, and Tobago's annual Tobago Heritage Festival.
I hope that this program will allow them to understand the importance of our rich heritage and culture, the importance that they play in our tourism sector, and overall that it will motivate them to be a part of the tourism industry more.
Placing second was Bishop's High School's Sohaila McCool, and third was Speyside High School's Nivan Cook. As the winner, Janae also received $2,500, breakfast for 2, and will represent Tobago at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Regional Youth Congress in the Cayman Islands in September 2022.
So we've come to the end of yet another edition of Let's Talk Tobago, and as always, we thank you for watching. Please email us with your comments or queries about the program, and be sure to visit our website, like our Office of the Chief Secretary Facebook page, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For more information on Tropical Pleasure Resort, you can contact the manager at 721-2222. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week.